Right. So, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Guildford Business Hub for what may be, for the moment at least, the last in the Coronavirus Business Survival Series. From this week, we're going from 1st of June. We're going back to just running the normal Monday Hub, which will be open to people. Yeah, so this could be the last in the current Coronavirus Business Survival Series. We may come back with more. I'm in discussions with a few people about some things we could do. For the time being, this might be the last of these updates that we do. And today, Will has very kindly agreed to come back and give us an update on the government support. Just in case anyone's watching this on the recording and doesn't know about the Guildford Hub, we're all about inspiration, education, and collaboration. We normally meet at the Harbour Hotel in the centre of Guildford in the social, which used to be called the Lombard Late. But during the coronavirus period, and actually going forward, we will always stream on Zoom as well, the regular meetings. So everything is Zoom based. Next Monday, we have the wonderful Lucy Matthews from Marvelous PR coming along to talk to us about PR opportunities, and a lovely typo in the image there that I hadn't noticed before. God, it hits you as soon as you bring it up on a big screen like this. It hits you. So Lucy is a former Surrey resident, but now lives down in the West Country in Devon. Lucy is an expert in PR, and you may or may not know her. Hi, Joe. Welcome.
Oh, hi. Sorry.
That's okay. We've just started on the preamble, and we will. It's being recorded as well. So, so Lucy, next Monday, it's going to be a really good session. Lucy is fabulous. So it's going to be a really good session. I'm really, really looking forward to sharing the session with Lucy. I am going to be doing later that week another of my 15 in 2 challenges. I've mentioned it to quite a few people now. We've been seeing some really good results coming out of last week's challenge. So next Wednesday, starting at 11 o'clock. So you'll need to keep the 11 to 1 o'clock window open to take part in the challenge. Some of the comments I've had, Mike Black, who took part in the last challenge, came back to me and said, my post is now trending in hashtag financial planning, which is brilliant. My own post, I typically get around 200 or 300 views for a post, a normal post. My post is now up at nearly 1,500. And lots of other people have been getting fantastic views. Fiona, you took part, as did John. I think your post got some really good exposure, didn't it?
Yeah. I was looking yesterday, and it's now got 1,154 views.
That's brilliant. What do you typically get for a post view?
What do you reckon?
I don't know.
Well,
you need to fill in the little stats spreadsheet I sent you to let me know, because I'd like to use the stats as part of the marketing for the challenge for next week.
Okay.
But yeah, typically people see sort of between 5 and 10 fold increase in the number of views that their post gets. It just gets huge exposure. So recommend that you join us next week from 11 till 1 with a post ready to go, and you get access to the whole program on Membervault, which gives you tips on how to create great posts and sets out the timetable and everything. So I've already had another 3 or 4 people asked to join us next time, just from a networking session this morning. The Coronavirus Business Support Series, Business Survival Series, and all of the hubs in this period are still available on my YouTube channel, but they will be taken down as at the end of the month, and they will go into the My Hobs system. So you will need a subscription to My Hobs to be able to get those. John and Fiona, that's you've already got that, so that's not a problem for you. But anybody else that wants to get access, all hub members automatically get access to My Hobs as well. But anyone listening to recording wants access to the recordings after the end of the month. You will need to get subscribed to My Hobs, which has it's going to have a huge amount of really useful content on there and helping you grow, build, start, reboot your business all under one roof. final shout out for Surrey Drive. Surrey Drive actually ended on Friday. We did the last deliveries on Friday. The hospital's catering has reopened. They've taken the catering stuff back in-house now. And we're just looking at Surrey Drive now, and there are some ideas for a new drive initiative. But watch this space. We'll be back with more, I think. But it's been a fantastic journey. Over 25,000 meals delivered. Lots of great feedback. Lots of really happy and appreciative nurses and hospital staff and hospice staff. So it's been a fantastic effort there. But today we're talking about the government support, and Will's here to give us an update. So Will, I'll stop sharing my screen, allow you to share yours, and I can hand over to you. I'll ask everybody I'll put everybody on mute, and then I'll take questions into the chat box, and I can interrupt Will at the appropriate time. So over to you, Will.
Okay, so screen share.
Oops. Sorry, I muted you as well.
Sorry. It says I think you might need to make me host to screen share.
Sorry. Right, you should be able to do it now.
Can everyone see my screen? Well, Alan, can you see my screen? You're the only one that can talk.
Yes, I can see your screen. Thank you.
Great. So, hello everyone. I think you all know me now. I'm Will from Revel, and Alan today has asked just to give an update on what the government has provided in terms of updates and any new support that's out there since I spoke last. I think last time I spoke, we knew about furloughing was coming along, and we had an idea that self-employed grants were coming along, but that was about it. So there have been a few updates since then, and again there are still some unknowns, which is very helpful. So we're going to talk about the usual who we are at Revel. The self-employed scheme, there's not too much more to say about that, but a little bit. Furloughing. There's some grants, there's some non-discretionary grants out there that I'd like to talk about. The business bounce back loans, what they're all about, and are you eligible and what you could use them for. The usual delaying your payments to HMRC, and then any questions. So that's Rob and me, you know who we are now. Any questions, please do ask. Sorry, sorry about that.
Sorry,
Focusing on coffee or something.
I was just worried that my internet connection was gone.
Yeah. So we'll start with the self-employed income support scheme. It's a 80% grant, and the scheme is now open and payments are being made. Most people I know that are eligible have applied, but if you did do the or the test at the very start to see if you're eligible within the first few days, there was a period where there wasn't enough information uploaded to the HMRC system, and it was giving a false negative. So do check again if you were initially refused. They are very strict on their rules though. There's no exceptions at all that we're aware of. And at the moment, there is no appeals process. So if you think they're wrong, you can try and give them a call, but they'll just read back the rules to you and say at the moment there's no way to appeal their decision. Now we know furlough is going to be extended from July or the end of July onwards, and the self-employed grant scheme was initially open to cover March, April and May. So in effect, it ends at the weekend, or the period that the money was sent out for is to cover up to the end of May. We don't think it's going to be extended, I'm afraid. Although the furlough scheme is going to be extended, we've not heard anything that this will be. And there's no noises being made that it will be extended. That's not to say they won't, but we're just setting expectations that we're not expecting any more money for this scheme to come out. Furloughing, we're well into this now. The scheme is, say, it's been open since the middle of April, and at Revel we're doing our second round of claims now, our second payrolls that are going through with claims coming back on. It's, to be fair, so far it's gone pretty well. Again, they're very strict on the rules, and very sort of down the line we've had a couple of cases where we haven't been able to claim because of errors HMRC have made and they won't accept it, and there's no appeals process, which is very frustrating at the moment. I did speak to one HMRC agent and they did say they're expecting an appeals process to open up for this and the grant scheme, but we haven't seen it yet. And then again, we don't know if it's going to be any good, and it's a bit after the Lord Mayor show that you can maybe appeal in July, but you really needed the money back in March or May, April time. So what's the point there? You're claiming money when you're through, hopefully through the worst of it. Frustrating for the business owners that need the cash. We know there are going to be some changes from the start of August. We don't actually know what these changes are yet. We've been told that employers are going to be asked to make a contribution towards employees' wages. From the details that are out there at the moment, it's being reported that it's going to work out to about 20 to 30% of wages to be covered by the employers, and to cover the employer's national insurance element, which at the moment is being covered by the government. We think it's going to work that employees are going to be allowed to go back to work part-time where safe and able to do so, and for that period of work the employer will pay normal 100% pay and everything on top. For the period where they can't work, you'll be able to still claim furlough for that period, but we don't know how it's going to work in terms of, is it going to be on an hourly basis, how is the mechanics of it going to work? We just don't know at the moment. There's possibly open to, or this element of the scheme is probably open to a little bit more fraud risk from HMRC side, so I think they're working at that quite a lot to get it right before they send out details. We also pretty sure that it's only going to be open to people that are currently on furlough. So if at the end of July you're not on furlough leave, we don't think it's going to be open for new applicants. So if you're considering furlough or not, get your employees on if you can do. Grants. Now this is a little area that we've just come across recently, actually. It was a little bit of a release that came out from the government and HMRC that didn't really get much traction, but there's sort of one press release on it and then not too much else. But there are some one-off discretionary grants available from local governments. They've been local governments have been provided with a pot of money that they can distribute as they see fit to small businesses. Now, if you've already received the self-employed grant or the rates reimbursement grant, we know you're not going to be eligible for this. If you've received funding elsewhere, you can't get this. If you've received furlough, you are eligible. Furlough is, I think, seen as more of a employee side of things, whereas this is for the business or the employer grant. So it's discretionary, non-discretionary grants So it's down to each local government to decide how they are to distribute this. The guidance has said they've been asked to prioritise small businesses in shared offices or other flexible workspaces. Examples could include units in industrial parks, science parks, or businesses which do not have their own business rates assessments. Also businesses such as regular market traders with fixed costs who don't get rates assessment, B&Bs, charities that don't get business rate relief. So it's looking like they're trying to get to businesses that aren't paying rates. However, as I say, it's up to each local government or council to decide how they distribute this. Now, I've had a look at the local government websites for our area, and some are better than others at the moment. So, top of the list, best one we can see out there so far is Surrey Heath. They actually have an application form on their website. So if you're in their area, Google that and have a look, and say I'll find an application form. Waverley have said they hope to be up and running at the start of June, and they will release more information then. Guildford have said, well, I can't find anything on their website about it. There is a press release on the Dragon that has said that they will contact you if they think you might be eligible for this, which is great, but I don't know how they're going to find you. So, for example, if you're a sole trader working from home, you're not going to be on Companies House. You're not going to be on the business rates list. I don't really know how they're going to find you. Similar, if you're a company and you're registered at Companies House, you're not necessarily going to be registered where your business is operating. You might have registered office at accountants or solicitors, somewhere like that. So I would suggest to get in contact with the council and just get in contact with them and see if you can push them along. Because as I say, I don't quite know how they're going to find you otherwise. Yeah, I think Guildford said they've got 6.25 million to spend, so there's a fairly substantial pot of money there to try and get a share of. And I believe also it's in the same sort of denominations as the rates grant, so it'll be a 10,000 grant or a 25,000 grant. Is our understanding of it at the moment, say, but we're still waiting for more details. The original press release from the government came out at the start of May, but I say Guildford and Waverley just haven't provided anything, and that's the area where a majority of our clients are. So we've been able to tell our clients that this is out there, but we just don't know anymore. And trying to get in contact has been a bit of a nightmare. The Guildford website says please don't call or email, but don't really provide a suitable email address to contact them. But
right, it's interesting.
Try not to put people off, but go for it.
Yeah, it's interesting, Will, because I've got a contact into the council that I might well try to see what we can find out there. I'll drop him an email and see what we can come up with there. That could be quite interesting. I'll keep you updated if I get any luck.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to target the businesses with premises first that didn't get the initial grant. I think that's the point of this money, but there might then be money left over that can go to other small businesses. You would hope they would try and get the money too. But as I said, if you are self-employed and have received the grant from self-employed, you are then not eligible for this scheme, which is a bit frustrating because your grant is a maximum of 7,500. If they're offering potentially up to 25k is this grant, then you've missed out slightly. But then at the time when the self-employed grants came out, you didn't know this other information, so you made the app or you put your grant in the best information at that time. Now, business bounce back loans. This is quite an interesting area, actually. When it first came out, we were a bit like, oh, business being straddled with a bit of debt. Should we be recommending this to our clients? Weren't too sure about it. So when it first came out. So the mechanics of the loan are: there's a loan of 25% of your turnover for the 2019 year, up to a maximum of £50,000. There is a minimum of £2,000 loan. No interest is payable for 12 months on these loans, and then there's repayments over 5 years after that at 2.5% interest, and there are no penalties for early repayment. So actually sounding pretty good. The loans are government backed, and they shouldn't ask you for any additional security or charges over property or personal assets. But they're actually fairly attractive loans, and I think you'll get much better than that on the market. And also the loan application process is fairly straightforward from what we can understand. We've been told that you need to approach your business bank first and see if they will accept you, and then if not, you can apply to other banks. But there are not a huge amount of banks accepting applications from customers that aren't their own customers of their own bank. There are a couple of banks where you can set up an account with them fairly straightforward. I think HSBC will allow you to set up a feeder bank account specifically for this loan to go into, and then I think probably shut it after a year or 2 years. And we also know that Starling Bank, they initially were allowing new customers to sign up for this pretty much straight away, but at the moment they are prioritizing their own customers, but we do think they'll open up new bank accounts again to other customers. So what can we do with this money? So initially we thought, do we really want to suggest people take out lots of loans for their businesses and straddle themselves with debt? But actually, could you use this money really cleverly and then pay it back either after a year or after 6 years at say a relatively cheap rate of interest? So first of all, could you use it to pay off more expensive debt? That would be the first obvious thing. We think that you can get interest free for a year and then 2.5%, but you've currently got a business loan or a business credit card that you're paying somewhere between 6 and maybe as high as 20% on a credit card. Wow, almost seems a no-brainer as long as you think you can have the capital at the end to repay this loan. And that's the key. You need to remember is you do have to pay it back. So you could clear your debt for a year, save all that interest, but remember you've got to pay back the capital. Could you invest in stock? So could you build up stock supplies? Can you invest in some infrastructure? Is there a new bit of kit that you could buy at this point in time and get up and running so that in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, you're on it, you're ready to go when everything hopefully opens up again? You're there at the forefront with this investment that will hopefully pay itself back within 9 months, a year's time. So that's what we're thinking. If you can use it wisely, then this might be a good thing to consider. But let's say, use it wisely. Don't just take the loan, buy a load of lottery tickets and then hope for the best, because it's a loan, it's due back. And as much as they're government backed, government is still going to want their money back because they've got a little bit of debt at the moment. In terms of what you can invest in, as Alan's sort of says to us all the time, first of all, think about what revenue you need. What sales are you targeting to get the profit that you need for yourself? From this, then start going backwards. From this, how many customers do you need? And then how can you use this money to get those customers? Is it a marketing campaign? Say, is it a piece of kit that will then allow you to open up your distribution channels? Can you then process more and make more? There's a couple of our clients do supply to local retailers, and they struggle to have a cash flow to build up the stock to supply them with the big orders. So they're thinking about getting one of these loans now to build up their stock supply so that they can fulfill bigger orders and actually, then get the cash flow kick started so that they're ready to roll on in future. What current strategies do work for you at the moment? Can you invest in these? So, as Alan says, with Facebook ads, Google ads, can you, you need to know what works and then duplicate that or replicate that system, test, and try again. Another one, can you now afford to outsource some of the things that you do, the £10, £15 an hour jobs? Can you outsource them to someone else to allow you more time to invest in the high ticket or the high worth items? So you could look to use this money to outsource some work, allowing you to do the high value stuff that will bring in the cash to repay this loan in a year's time or 6 years' time. Just remember that you don't have to spend it all at once. You can apply for the loan now, you can leave it in your bank account for a year and then pay it back in a year's time. So yeah, just don't spend it all at once, but we think it's quite a good opportunity out there. So as long as you don't waste it, which is the key. Remember, it's got to be paid back.
I think, well, there's some interesting points here. Firstly, the loan scheme's open, I think, until either the beginning or the end of November. So you don't have to apply for it now, and it will still be available to you up until that time. So if you're not planning to spend the money now and don't need the money now, because your 12 months doesn't start until you take the loan out.
Right.
If you think you're going to do a marketing campaign a little bit later in the year, once lockdown is relaxed a bit further, and you want to invest in that campaign, then that's the time to apply for the loan and then get your 12 months interest free from that date when you are actually going to start using the money. But this is the cheapest way I have ever seen of getting cash flow into your business. And providing you are using it, as Will says, in a responsible way, and you are really tracking your cash flow. So if you go back to what we talked about in the early things, Will talked about in his second webinar around managing your finances, and I talked about in the 120-day plan. If you can really manage your cash flow and understand how you could use this loan to really take your business forward, and you can see from that you can actually then afford the repayments as well from the forecast cash flow. This is not a bounce back loan. Could be a bounce forward loan. And I've seen a number of switched on entrepreneurs taking these loans are really taking advantage of the opportunity to grow their business at a rate that at a funding rate that they could never normally find. Because to try and get a loan of 25% of £50,000 interest free just doesn't exist. You can't get that sort of funding anywhere. So this is a really golden opportunity if you have your business in the right place and you manage it properly.
Just want to say it's open for limited companies and self-employed businesses as well. It's open for small business, as long as you haven't got, basically you're a small business, so you're under about 10 million turnover.
Right.
You're
John and
fine.
Fiona have said that they're having some challenges with Barclays. Their website is giving an error. It's just because they're
I know. I did research
swamped.
about Barclays' website did keep crashing on it.
Yeah.
So, but I do know a business that in Guildford that has received a loan from Barclays. So
yeah,
they are.
I know of a number of businesses that have received loans from Lloyds and from NatWest. I've looked at the Metro Bank website. They've applied to be a part of the scheme, but they haven't yet been approved. So they're one of the banks that you can't get the loans through at the moment. But as you said, there's about 11 providers. I think it was the last.
I think there's a few more than that now because Tide just got on as well.
Right. Yep.
So I think there might be up to about 30 odd now. There's quite a few small ones on there. but most of the big players are on the.
I must admit, I checked back over the weekend. Metro may be up there now, in which case I'll get onto them.
Were there any other questions on this side of things?
No, that's there's no other points or questions been made in there in the chat box. Great, thanks.
And then the last few points: delaying payments to HMRC. The VAT payments, you can still delay those without telling HMRC. And for the self-employed people out there, your July payment on account doesn't have to be paid at the end of July this year. You can wait until January to pay that. Now, we're recommending to most of our clients that probably best to leave this till January, unless you've got got a bit of cash now sat ready to pay it that you think you're going to spend on something else that you shouldn't spend on something else. Almost a no-brainer not to pay it, but there are obviously some situations where you pay it, and also if you've got old tax to pay, please pay that, because that is still accruing interest and penalties. It's only for your 1920 payments on account. This is for. Sorry, also, we do know that if you are struggling to pay other taxes such as corporation tax, PAYE, do give them a call. They are being very helpful at the moment. This is unusual for them. Just a couple of other points. There's just one so far. As an individual, they have extended mortgage holidays to the end of October. It was discussed that they wouldn't do this, but I think they were a bit worried that lots and lots of people would suddenly apply that possibly didn't need to. So there's no rush to apply now, but it is open till the end of October should you require this. Any questions on the last two slides? I doubt there will be, but or on anything. Happy to answer any questions.
But then there's also
So I've tried unmuting everybody, but I can't unmute all.
Do I need to do it?
So if anyone wants to raise any questions of Will or make any points in general, please come off mute and join in.
I think we've hi Will, hi Alan, hi everybody.
Hi Jamie.
We've been unsuccessful to get any grants or anything, so I think we're still trying, but there just isn't anything out there for grants to help us, which is a bit of a shame. I think we just fall short of the so our rateable value is 58, so we fall short of any grants.
Yeah, you've just tipped over into the higher or the outside the scope of that grant.
Yeah, we've tried Coast Capital, and we've also put a letter to the council, so if anything comes up for the extra funding and what have you, but nothing at the moment. So it's,
yeah, they might given that you're just over the tipping point, they might come back and say, yeah, you are eligible for a special grant now.
I hope so.
Just keep pestering them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Is that a good idea, like you say, because we emailed probably about 2 weeks ago and they came straight back to us, very good. Do you think it is something just to send them another email to say, you know, where are you at?
I would find the link to the government press release about the fund being given to councils, and if you can find anything on your own council website around the extra government funding they've been given to give special grants, then I'd link to those articles or those posts and ask them, is there any way you can be considered for part of this as a special case?
Let me see if I can find the government release.
Is it Spelthorne you're part of, Jamie?
Say that again. Sorry.
Which council are you? Is your
Crawley?
Crawley, it's in Crawley. Yeah. So you need to go to the Crawley website and see what they're saying on there about this extra pot of money that the government have given out to councils.
They are at the moment.
Yeah. And if you can't find anything on there, then just refer to the government advice, which I was trying to find the link for at the moment. But yeah, if you search HMRC additional grants for councils, for local councils.
Additional grants.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll find the less to go local details.
I mean, yeah, I think I understand why they haven't put in appeals processes for all of these things, because of the volume that they are going to get swamped with. But at some stage, they have to allow some appeals, because there is some there's some blatant unfairness going on. I'm impacted myself. I wasn't eligible in the first round of the self-employed income support scheme, because for the tax year in question, I'd taken salary from my company, my motorhome business, which was slightly higher than the salary or the income profits I got from running the hub and coaching. But because that business didn't get, I'm not on, although I'm on the payroll, I'm not drawing any salary from the company at the furlough date. I can't claim the salary or the furlough amount, but I can't claim the self-employment either. So and you know, if you look at my income for the following year, it's all from self-employment, none from the motorhome business. But the strict rules mean that I'm not eligible. So I have flagged, raised a query with them to challenge it, but it's I've not heard anything back.
Yeah.
We'll just put the link into the chat box.
I've got all the guidance as well if you want that, but
Yeah,
it's a bit boring.
yeah. If you're struggling sleeping, then it's great.
Right.
Guaranteed
Yeah,
to
the
send you off.
second one is all the guidance for local authorities, but I've read it, but you don't have to.
Yeah. You're just trying to keep up your accountant image there, aren't you, Will?
Okay, I need to. Do I just cut and paste that? How do I?
If you want to save the chat so that you've got a copy of the chat, I mean, I do save the chat and I'll make it available to anyone that wants it. But if you go onto the chat box and where it says to, and then next to that is a little icon on a file, and then next to that is 3 little dots. If you click on those 3 little dots, you get some options, and one of them is save chat. So you'll be able to save the chat down, and it'll save it to your computer as a text file. It won't have the hyperlink bit of it won't be there, but it will be a text file, and you can just copy and paste that text into a Word document, and then put a space at the end of each of the hyperlink.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's 2 hyperlinks there.
Yeah, there's 2 hyperlinks. So put a space after, before the HTTPS of the second one, and then a space at the end of the second one, and it will automatically, when it's in Word, it will then create it into a hyperlink that you can click through, or you can just cut and paste the hyperlinks into a browser.
Okay. Thank you.
But if anyone needs those and can't work out how to do it, just message me afterwards, and I will send you the links from the chat file, and I'll create them as hyperlinks for you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I'm just going to paste in the banks that are eligible for the scheme as well. The Bounce Back loan.
Brilliant. Excellent.
Metro aren't on there yet.
No, they say they've applied. I suspect it's because they haven't got a system up and running yet to process the payments or process the applications, which they say they
Yeah,
were.
there are 18 banks. So.
It's more. Yeah, it was about 11 or 12 the last time I looked last week.
Great.
Excellent. Any other questions from anyone?
No, I think we've just got to keep pushing with Barclays.
Yeah, definitely got to keep on
Yeah.
pushing with Barclays.
Yeah, I may have a go at Barclays, because I do still have some income coming in through one of those businesses, so I might actually give them a nudge and see if I can get a little bit of a bounce back loan on there. And yeah, that might be quite interesting.
Yeah, there's a few articles, news articles about Barclays feeling the heat because they haven't fixed their system yet.
Yeah,
On the Bounce Back loan.
yeah.
It is a known error.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, we get this error message that says we need to verify the identity details of some of the individuals named on your account before we can process a bounce back loan for your business. And then and there was a fill in your details page, which we filled in, and now we get periodic text saying, sorry, we really are trying to catch up. Please be patient.
Yeah. Please, we are trying to catch up. Please don't go bankrupt while we do that.
Yeah, that's it.
yeah.
I'll just post in there's a Martin Lewis article, which is fairly useful, but it does say if you are a customer of a different bank, if you can apply further down on the page. So,
Brilliant. Excellent. Well, thank you.
got a table with all the banks on.
Excellent. Excellent. Any other questions from anyone?
Good. That's it, I think.
Good stuff. Brilliant. All right. So if we there's Will's and Rob's details. I would strongly recommend both of them. The recording for this will be up on the YouTube channel later today, and I will actually keep. Whilst all the other hub stuff is going to go into my hobs, my house of business support, which you'll need if you're not a hub member or a subscriber, you will need to subscribe to my hobs to get access to them after the end of the month. Will's sessions will remain up there so that you can actually share them with his clients as well. So I will leave those on the YouTube channels. So the government advice will still be up there. And
Can I also just say there's our link to our insights on COVID at the moment, so we update this fairly regularly just with what's going on, and we send it out to our customers, but we do publish it as part of the blog as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd go to their website and sign up for that because those insights are really useful and really valuable. Excellent. Thanks everybody. Good to see you all, and hopefully see some of you at the PR session next Monday with Lucy Matthews, and possibly on the 15 in 2 challenge, LinkedIn challenge, later that week, where we're getting really good improvement in people's reach of their LinkedIn posts. Thanks everybody, and see you all soon.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.